Mr. Charlie Depew. And Miss Georgie Flores. Mr. Keith Powers. The ultra glamorous Perry Reeves. Miss Pepe Shinoga. And Miss Nikki Koss. All right.
It's freezing in here.
Giant ensemble. How's it going? All right, so Marlene, congratulations.
Thank you, Damien. Thank you.
So how was it, we talked a little bit backstage, how was it wrapping up one show that has been going on for years and launching a new show that by this time tomorrow people could watch the entire first season?
It was challenging. One, because it's bittersweet. It's very sad to say goodbye to Pretty Little Liars. But I think because of that, I'm even more grateful to have the opportunity to create a new baby called Famous and Loved, and get to expand our family and create relationships with these people in the way that I did with the people on PLL.
Did you guys all take real good care of her while she was going through like the mourning process of Rosewood?
Yes, I was that one night. Pizza. Yes, with pizza. We were starving and we were cold. And Carter brought us pizza.
Oh. All right, so how did this all start happening? When did Rebecca's book come across your desk? When did you start to think, all right, well, I want to do something else now?
Well, that I'll let Bella speak to a little bit in terms of how she found the book and what it meant to her. But I was introduced to the book and the material through Bella, and immediately was attracted to it because it was so. I felt like I had so much material for this world because I had kind of lived through watching all the men and the young men and women of Pretty Little Liars go from relatively not being famous to being very famous, stars and starlets. And so, but Bella can talk a little bit about what the book meant to her.
I read the book by Rebecca when I was actually just getting off of Shake It Up when I was like 14, 15, and I put a quote on it. I remember being actually in hair and makeup, and I did it, and it was so interesting and so very much on point with actors and what I was going through. And at that time, it was like, the start of like, Shake It Up. So I really identified so much with what Paige was going through. And then my manager and I, Thor, were like, okay, well, let's do a TV show. And I was like, this book. And he introduced me to Marlene King. And he was like, no, Marlene is going to literally serve this up on a silver platter. You don't even understand. Because he has Ashley, and they work so closely together. And then Marlene she whipped it together. Didn't she? Right? Though. Seriously, give it up for Marlene.
So, for you, having kind of gone through this, how different is Paige's experience?
Yes, so different just because, Paige, it's an open casting call and it's like, boom, all of a sudden fame. In like minutes, basically, people know that she's the girl and everybody's waiting for it and it's such a big deal. But for me, it was just like audition after audition after. And I think everybody pretty much goes through that process and you're really just like crawling on your hands and knees to get anywhere and pay the bills, and it is what it is. But Paige is like, she gets it in such a interesting, cool way, and Shake It Up, it was Zendaya's first audition, so it really does happen, that 1 in a million role.
That's great. Nice. Okay, so now Carter, we meet Rainer in a condition or position, really, that feels like he's been in many times. So much so that his mother doesn't even bat an eye. But when we talk backstage, it's very easy for him to be considered like the bad boy, but he's being genuine in his connection with Paige, correct? This is not a guy who's looking at this girl as the next one.
Oh no, she's special. Yeah, I think that's true. The first time, can you hear me?
Yeah.
The first
This
time,
just keeps moving. So
Or is it I'm like, what's happening here?
it's like Caroline IMAX.
So anyway, the first time Rainer sees Paige at that window, I think that it's true. That he sees something pure in her and authentic, and he's living sort of jaded and living in this world where there's a lot of phoniness. It's kind of superficial, and she is a beacon of purity. And yeah, that's Paige.
What kind of effect do these two have on each other? Because she could soften him, or with his life and his history, that could actually end up hardening her.
Goes hand in hand for sure. You teach my character so much throughout the series. Sorry.
No, take it.
Okay, no, you take it. I
Let's
don't
do it
want
together. I teach my I think that's true. I think maybe somewhere they may be in the middle.
Okay, all right. And then we have Mr. Jake, Charlie. Some of us discussed this during the reception. I'm Team Jake. Some have declared Jake the Dawson. However, so
The what?
the Dawson.
Interesting.
No, the Dawson. He's the Dawson.
The Dawson.
Does this guy? He's so sweet and so. I almost feel like he's too nice for Hollywood, and I definitely don't trust the agent guy that comes up. What can we expect for this kid to kind of get? Is he getting sucked into this world now?
I think he will. I think he will get sucked into it a little bit because from my perspective, he's incredibly intelligent and he's very motivated to achieve what he wants to achieve. But at the same time, yeah, he is too nice for his own good, and at times he can come off a little naive, similar to Paige.
She wanted to do.
Oh,
She's a little scared.
Well, she was scared, but it was also a bit of. I mean, yeah, it's a leap of faith, and it's like it is for any actor. I mean, she's very right when she says it's like it is a lot of crawling to get to where you want to be. But for Jake, yeah, you'll definitely see him get sucked in a little bit more, I think.
Well, I think we could give a little spoiler alert that there's somebody on this panel. I won't name names.
I've already picked it out, actually.
I'm saying.
All right, so I feel like that Alexis is going to target this guy. He's like, it's blood in the water. Yeah.
I'd say.
And it's a great way to get
It's
That is a theory.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Season 2, Dave.
All right.
Yeah.
So how can Jake compete with a guy who is Rainer?
I think
They're very different.
we're very, very different. Rainer and Jake are very different people.
We actually, I'm not to interrupt you, but we actually wrote a specific scene for your audition where they go toe to toe. It doesn't exist yet in the show, but like we wanted to make sure that we cast an actor as great as Charlie who could really stand up to this movie star and take him.
Yeah, and I love that scene, by the way. But yeah, basically, Jake. How does Jake compete with Rainer? I'm still trying to figure that out. It is just different. It's Jake is the innocent one. Jake's the one that's.
He's the only one on this panel who's not high.
Well, you're aware of.
That we're aware of.
You might be hiding something.
Yeah.
I mean, even Paige is hiding the job from her parents until the second
But
episode.
I've always likened that character. He's like the Toby of this
Right,
world.
he's the voice of innocence.
The voice of reason. Yeah, he's
Okay.
the voice of reason. But I'm still trying to figure out how Jake's going to compete with Rainer. I'm still figuring that out. But I think the innocence plays to his advantage, or depending on the person's perspective, it could be his advantage or disadvantage. But I don't know. I guess we'll see more. Later.
And speaking of innocence, we've got the one who looks the most innocent. But so I don't want to spoil anything because it's revealed in the second episode. Georgie. What can you tell us about Georgie's secret life without spoiling it? Because it's so.
I tell you about spoiling it.
Yeah.
She makes money.
Like
That's good.
how deep and dark does it get for this? Because it could go into a very weird place.
It's It's a twist. It's a twist.
And is this something like, honestly, do you know people who've had very strange jobs to pay their way through LA life?
I mean, I've had every job imaginable before I booked this show.
Not that one, not that one.
But not, yeah.
Not that one. What? No. Oh, no. Like nanny, housekeeper, assistant. Not really housekeeper, but I would like clean up the kids' room of like the baby when I babysat. Or I will punch you in the knee.
Why are you giggling?
No, sorry.
It's the weirdest twist, and I love it. Because when it happens, I was like, wait, what? Oh my god! Okay, so we don't want to.
It's fun though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
She's just trying to pay for college.
And Cassie's also an actress. Will we see her kind of get jealous of her best friend kind of reaping all of these things?
I mean, you'll have to see.
All right. Okay, now so Jordan. So originally, again, like I love the idea of these characters being set up as one thing because they're all archetypes, but we get a very disturbing hint in the second episode that this guy's hiding something, and then when I found out what it was, it's so heartbreaking. This kid he's pretty broken. He needs a friend, and he seems to have isolated his only friend. Where is he going from here? And also, he's doing something horrible.
Jordan is he's trying to figure everything out and try to balance everything and hold it all together. Because he deals with so much, but I think that's the beauty in playing Jordan and playing a character like him. Because they show him to be a really serious actor that's serious about his craft, but then you see what's going on behind the scenes. It's like, how could you go into a scene with all this happening in your head, like all this happening offset and away from set? But that just shows that's where I relate to Jordan. It's like when I'm on set, I feel like that is my drug. That's when it's my escape. I'm escaping reality when I'm on set. So when Jordan's on set and he's focused, all that other stuff in that moment when they yell action is not there. And I think that's what I love about Jordan, and I feel like he's that guy where it's like every time you try to make something right, something else just happens and it's wrong every single time. And he reminds me of my little brother. That's how my little brother is. I got it all under control.
So how long do we have to wait? We don't really have to wait. Like after tonight, we have it. But how long into the story does the Nina truth come out?
How quick?
Yeah. Because I feel like it would be so great if it was dragged out through the entire season and we never found out until the end. But then I also want to see how crazy it gets.
You have to find out.
Okay, so Nina Devin.
Well, first of all, the word horrible. I mean, I think
I said something horrible. No, horrible. This is his friend's mother.
You're fired. No, I'm kidding. She's that powerful. She can fire the
She fires real
I
people.
can fire whoever I want.
So I love, like, Nina Devin is kind of a monster, and I love her for that.
Thank you.
Like, but I also feel like she truly loves her son.
No, I think the coolest thing about all of our characters is that they're all so dimensional. You know, you think you're seeing someone in the first service like the movie star, but then you come to find out what he's had to go through to get to that, and how he's not necessarily the happiest person that you would think that he would be. And I think the same with Nina. She is a woman, a single mom, raising a child, and in a male-dominant world of Hollywood. And she's very successful, but to stay there, the amount of work and energy and lies and sneakiness and cheating and whatever that she has to do to justify to staying where she is. I mean, it's a lot, and it's a lot, and I think it's all for the good of the family or the good of the business. It's never done out of like, oh, she's a bitch and she's being a bitch. And I think to address the relationship that our characters have, you know how someone can can bring a thing out in you, like a vulnerability that you may not allow yourself to show because it's too scary and dangerous to show it to the general population. Our relationship, we both know secrets about each other that are really, really heavy and deep, and we feel safe with one another. It's not like predatory or creepy, and it's not just about like the physical intimacy. It's like they have a bond that is really unique, and I think that's what people are going to connect with. Sure, it's really fun to go, oh my God, that's so shocking, and they're together. But if you really strip it away and you see what they both had to go through, you get why they get it.
I wish we had one more scene in the pilot to show more of what comes out.
Well, you'll see
during
as it
the
goes.
season.
Exactly. That's the fun part of watching the show. Every episode, what you think is real is suddenly totally different, and it's going to make you want to turn into the next one, and you're going to find out a little, and you're going to think, oh, I'm grounded and I have it now, and then you're not.
It is the ultimate bro code betrayal.
Yeah, it is
Like
ultimate.
the ultimate.
But they both. Besides that, there's nothing wrong with the relationship. It's not like he's 17. Like,
Right? Oh no, no, it's just his best friend's mom.
Besides, that's what I'm saying. Besides this relationship,
It's his best friend's
the
mom.
relationship between
It'd be
you
weird if I was
two
sleeping with my best
isn't
friend's
like
mom.
it is not.
Yeah,
It's
right.
not weird. Like
I
it's
would be.
really not weird.
Idiot.
Yeah.
No, I would.
There is
Oh, I
no
can't wait for
doubt.
season 2.
Everything that you see on the show, everyone's doing something that puts them in an uncomfortable position. You are never at ease. Like, no one's ever, like, in the free zone. Like, we're
Right.
all, and I think that's what makes it really exciting.
How does Nina
Because you can fall apart.
How does Nina feel about Tangi then?
Well, that's the thing. I've known Tangi since she was a little girl because she was a pop star and she grew up with my son. And I always hoped that their relationship would be good for one another professionally, to have a pop star and a movie star together. And then I like her. I do like
So much
her.
going
So it is really messy. But isn't messy what makes me just
It's
want to watch
so much
TV?
fun.
That's what Hollywood is.
This is a messy, real mess.
So how does Nina feel about Paige?
Well, I discover Paige, so I am very proud of my discovery. So, like, let's get. I am one of those people that the boundaries are very fuzzy because as much as I'm defending and taking care of the one person, I could be doing something that's completely destroying them on the other side. So you just never know. You don't want to mess. Let's get real. You don't want to mess with Nina. Definitely.
You don't
Really
No, and that's
you want to be.
not one
that's
of
You
the
want to be
first
on my
thing.
good side because I will make you into a movie star. And you do not want to be on my, you'll be a dishwasher in a restaurant in 2 weeks, and that's the truth.
Well, that's-
I have that kind of power.
The first question
She-
I actually had about this character was from the lunch scene with Barry.
Oh my God! What my favorite line
So-
of the whole thing is like, I don't ever want to have to touch your balls again.
It's beneath me.
And then the,
That is the greatest.
and then the napkin.
Yeah.
It was
But
all
she
over-
says, she hints like that she has people who
I
enjoy
do.
taking care of her
Yes.
problems.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not to be messed with.
Goons.
Good. So she is not above. She's not above violence.
She is not. Look, there's a big picture. There's a big picture, and she is not above anything to get that picture complete. And to stay in Hollywood. Let's say I was on a big show that got nominated for all kinds of things. You are never. It's never over. You're still auditioning for the next thing. You still, as a writer, you want the next big hit. So she kind of represents like at any moment, she's gonna have to start all over again. And to get to, that is very, you'll do a lot.
And
She'll do a lot.
there's a nice setup
Not me,
in the
no.
fact that like Jared was her assistant, and then
Yes.
in episode 2,
Yes,
we meet the man she was the assistant to,
exactly.
and how they mirror, that rise and what both of those people became.
Right. I mean, I think I have respect for Barrett. To be honest with you, I don't hate him. I mean, God bless him. Just don't F with me.
Right.
Like you go and do your dirty stuff. Just don't drag me into it. I admire your, willingness to go that low. Like I'm kind of like,
Well,
wow, good for you.
Then that takes us back to Tangi, because this child that you've known and loved since childhood, you literally sell this girl out.
I do.
You drag her name to the first episode.
Sorry about that.
When she shows up, she's lovely.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But she got a messed up mother.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this girl. Where does she factor in now with these guys? Because it's almost like she's the one who's going to have to maybe make peace with them.
I think Tangi's very mature, and she's a very smart woman, and she gets what she wants, but she's very she's not even calculated because she's genuine, but she has a good head on her shoulders. So I think she could be the one to always like make peace between the both of them or this drama that's happening.
But maybe not.
Yeah, but maybe not. But I do think that she is pretty, for someone in Hollywood, for the people we've got going on, she's like a pretty mellow girl who's like, dude, I just want to make music and stop getting on my nerves. But yeah.
But she's got the mom.
And
You guys wait in episode 2. Vanessa Williams shows up as mom. It's the first, the Melrose Vanessa Williams, and she's so Tina Knowles. It's amazing, and it seems like she might be in the same category as Nina.
Definitely.
These two could rule the world and destroy it.
Definitely. So like you're gonna meet Nina, but like my version, like, exactly like me, but Nina, and it's insane. I sort of feel like I know you guys haven't seen the episode, but when you meet, you kind of understand Tanji as well, because I think when her character is introduced, there's so much drama. Like I want to be on the red carpet with them, or I want this, I want, and then you sort of see that she wants these things because someone is pushing her to want these things. So it definitely lets you like having the mom there.
Nikki? Okay.
Does it
work though?
Is
it working?
Yes, you're on. So this, talk about like, as Perry said, like you meet these characters and you find out something that you believe about them isn't really true. And, we find out so much about this girl, like in succession.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I feel like it's all true.
I still am having a hard time. Well, that's actually interesting because I was talking to someone earlier about her and her romances throughout the show, and I was like, I even had a hard time differentiating sometimes whether or not she was in something for her genuinely, or if she had ulterior motives. She's kind of a snake.
Well, that's the thing. She says, I'm not sleeping with Jordan. She goes over there. He's like, you want to get naked? And she's almost like,
She's like,
it's like, well, I got parking. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then we find out, like, then she's with Dakota. And then in episode 2, we've got this new one
and then
showing
the next
up.
one, she's like, Dakota's a bitch.
Yeah.
She's
And then somehow, throughout, like, her number ends up in someone else's phone.
It does end
Yeah.
up, and it's funny how that happens.
So I want to know, like, and she has the greatest, she's like the Blair Waldorf of the Hollywood studio a lot. Like, she gets these great faces, and like, because she gets to experience, like, these newbies, and it's just like, what the
Yeah.
like, where's the turnip truck? How does the new crowd blend with the seasoned stars? Like, what kind of intersections do we start seeing with, Georgie? How does she, who does she end up orbiting?
Well, everybody's, there's a lot of mixes. It's very messy, and I feel like throughout the course of the first 10 episodes, I think everybody has multiple scenes with each other, and people's lives, Tanji will find her way in a way to the Locked movie. And some people will sleep with some people, some people will sleep with other people, and some people will sleep with multiple people.
Now, and will Tanji sing?
Yeah.
Will we actually see
Tanji's gonna sing. Tanji has a full performance for you guys.
She sings on
Oh,
Conan.
We can say it on Conan. It's on Conan. It's amazing. Yeah, we actually shot on the Conan stage. I don't know how we swing that. That's amazing.
Marlene King.
Marlene, that's why.
Okay, so much of this was filmed, like, there's a great little shout out, the Pretty Little Liars pink golf cart shows up.
Yeah, it's got Chad Lowe in it.
And you've got so many, you have access to, it's Warner Brothers Studios. People are wandering around. Should we expect to see some familiar faces just wandering around?
Dolan twins.
Quite a few little cameos.
Yeah,
Ben and Lauren from The Bachelor.
Of
Ryan
course.
Felipe.
Ryan Felipe.
Ryan Felipe.
Just Jared.
Twitch. Twitch.
Yeah, just
Just
Jared.
Jared.
Just Jared. Okay.
No, but this is going to be the show that now next year everyone's going to watch it and they're like, can I be on it? Will you ask Marlene if I can be on the show? Like, now that we've had some people and people are going to watch it and like it, there's going to be more of that.
Yeah.
Basically, next year Beyonce's gonna be on it.
Yeah.
What is it about Hollywood that gives the story like that extra layer of juiciness?
I want to fire Ari Gold. Like, I think he's like, I want him to be doing a movie or something, and I want to shut it down.
That's a great
And he would do that. He would be totally willing to do that. Like, just a little, yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
So how is it for the act? Like, you're playing young Hollywood, and you are young Hollywood.
Yeah, very
So
actors.
Like we were
That is
talking
very
like
method.
shooting something on the red carpet. Does that actually bring up like that visceral reaction of when you're actually on a red carpet?
Yeah.
When I watched, I used to watch Entourage all the time. Entourage was like my favorite TV show for many years, and I always wondered
Oh, he's
about.
so sleeping with her.
But during watching that show, I constantly questioned it because I was an actor while I was a consumer of that show, and I asked the question of how do they shoot this? It's like they're shooting a movie inside of a TV show, and there's another movie inside the TV show, and then when we got to shoot Famous, we got to experience the same thing. There were multiple moments in Entourage where they're shooting on the Warner Brothers lot, and Ari Gold and Vinny Chase are driving down the lot in their nice cars, and I'm like, gosh, that is the job to have. In a show where not only you shoot in LA, where you're so meta that you're on location is the lot of the studio. So it's like, so that was pretty cool. But Young Hollywood, playing Young Hollywood, it's a very fun, interesting story. Just partly because the idea of Young Hollywood is such a strange, interesting business. The idea of Instagram celebrity or the idea that people make money off of social media like is so foreign, and that famous people like endorsements and all this craziness that people don't really get to see, I think is very fun, and it exists especially in Young Hollywood more than the older guys. But yeah.
So I want to add, like, do we at the end of 10 episodes does Georgie get a taste of fame?
We're not going to tell you that.
Well, I just want to know because I'm worried about her.
She gets laid.
Okay, all right.
What?
She gets laid.
She gets laid. There you go.
Oh, I forgot.
No, with the character that
We love this character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we introduced
Awesome.
him.
I just
Kind of
bumped
as
into
a
him at
Dave
Target.
Blair, and we loved him so much that he became his own arc on the show, and,
Yep.
and that involves George's character.
All right, so now this is the second time you've worked adapting an author's book. Is that going to be reflected in the show? Because the Locked is based on books.
Well, actually, watching the pilot today made me realize we haven't brought the writer back yet, and I loved her so much. Caitlin has screenwriter, she says that. And I really would like to bring her back and have her more on the show, season 2.
So, and episode 2 ends with Paige's parents asking what Locked is about, and we have no idea.
Still don't know.
So will we find out like what these books are about?
Yeah, I mean, we're the movie, because we need to make it shootable for the Warner Brothers lot, will not be the same. Locked in the TV show is not the same Locked in the books. We're creating our own movie franchise so we can make it come to life.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, the character is like, she has a sister. She's got and I'm like, but is anyone have a family? Like, if you and Paige's family shows up, you're like, okay, I can see that. But like, who raised this girl?
That's what's interesting. That's what we're gonna dive into.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Okay.
We'll find out.
And
Super sweet.
Paige is goofy. Paige is she's a little bit of a nerd. She's dorky. But when we first see her in the flash forward, she's kind of a boss at that point. Like, she seems a little harder. She's a little bit more under the radar. In 10 episodes, do we see what gets her to that level?
Not in the first 10.
No, it definitely goes. It will grow throughout the whole entire. So I really need to talk with Mike.
Yeah.
You guys can hear me. I feel like this. It really pleases you that much. Yeah, that looks a little. Here.
How about that, influencers?
No, but it definitely takes, as anybody working in the industry, you know, it definitely takes a lot for Paige to get there. She starts out very, sensitive and naive, and she definitely grows, but in the end, in that flash forward, all I see is not really hardened. I don't think Paige necessarily is like, wow, she's badass. I think she looks sad, and that's like kind of what we were playing on, is this whole glitzy glam, these photos that you see every day online. We're like, wow, their life must be so perfect. She's getting in the car, looking at her photo of herself on the huge magazine, and she's just not quite happy with it. Like, she's just not happy with her life somehow, which I think is one of the really cool parts that we are going to play on Paige, because we did make such a choice to go with her so dorky and so up and like, oh my god, I'm just like giggling and I talk too fast and I can't stop myself from talking, and she's always getting herself in trouble. And we definitely see that grow in a different way.
I love the fact there was a small little touch, and it's barely noticeable, but on her first like coffee date with Rainer, she's eating. And like normal girls don't like
oh, I make it a huge thing. Remember when we changed all those lines?
She's eating like a scone or something, and I'm like, oh, she's like really awkward.
Paige loves food, but we did change something because it was all fancy food in one of the episodes where you had to name it, and I was like, you gotta put like, come on, cheeseburgers, and like we put some like double decker. Like I'm ready to eat my face off if we actually do the scene, guys. So let's.
Excellent. Any more questions?
I have another one. So I really appreciated that there's some stereotypes that I don't usually see in TV, like there's the two girls kissing and there's like the older woman thing that, you know, we don't see all of that usually in one episode, especially not a pilot. So I love how you're just like going for it, and it feels very modern. It feels like it's like more modern than maybe like a Gossip Girl. Anyway, I'm curious, this question is for you, Bella, since you have talked about liking girls too, do you think that, and I really appreciate you being open about that and honest about that, like really important, do you, I know you can't give anything away, but do you see your character perhaps having something with a girl?
I have been waiting for Marlene to write a scene with me and Nikki, because I feel like us on screen would just be like,
yeah,
like so
that needs to happen.
Yes. But Paige seems like the character is, what do we do? Oh, in front of me, what do I punch? Not quite sure, but it would be great if we put something locked in there. Just throw me something. Just throw me a ball.
Wait, she's your sister-in-law.
So many relationships.
But yeah, when I got to kiss Georgie, it was. She just says, "Pillowy like lips that just so beautiful and perfect."
Anyone else? Oh, right there.
There's a level of immediate. I don't even know this is on. A level of immediate comfortability, or at least chemistry between Rainer and Paige. Did you find that with each other, or was there kind of that, you know?
I hate them all.
Do you want to take this question, or should I take it?
Should we do it in unison? I just think that I think that their relationship, Rainer and Paige, it's one of those relationships where you meet someone and you feel like you've known them for years. I thought about kind of like The Notebook. You know, remember like the first he sees her in that movie and he's like just drawn in, and he's like, yeah, you're the one, you're my girl. And what Bella and I.
Same.
Yes, same.
We were close before the show. We've definitely gotten closer on the show, and we know how to act, and it's always meta. We find funny ways to use the lines that we say to each other on the show in real life. Like we will somehow find a way to sneak it in there, and it is just so funny, and they really do work. Like you are a good sometimes you're like, wow, I could say this in this moment. Like we love to be cheesy.
All right. Anyone else?
So, can I ask, are you guys dating? You don't have to answer
No.
that.
No.
You just have to
No.
Why not?
We talk a lot about how like things are like very meta on the show. This is like a really weird kind of question, but it's about Chad Lowe. How we saw some Chad Lowe. Does that mean like theoretically in season 2, like you wouldn't have anybody guest star who had been on Pretty Little Liars because Pretty Little Liars exists like in this world as its own thing?
They would play. They would have. We've already had these conversations. They'd have to play themselves as opposed to their characters.
Which would be cool.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
So,
Anyone else?
Halle Berry season 2.
All right, well, listen, I want to thank you guys. Congratulations. And don't forget, so it premieres tonight on Freeform, and then immediately after, All 10 episodes of the first season are available on the Freeform app, freeform.com, and on demand, and Hulu. So you can literally not avoid this show.
But like, turn your TV on.
Turn your TV on and it will be on. If your TV is off, they will come over and they will perform it for you.
What we're going to do too is, which we haven't talked much about, is because it's available to binge on. It's still going to air every Tuesday after Pretty Little Liars, and we're going to do great, fun social media stuff. We're going to have great, Insta, Snap, Twitter parties, and so even if you've seen it, watch it again and come and play with us on social media. For sure.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations. Thank you guys.